Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick, it's time for full disclosure.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 68, 68, 68, 68, 60. Dang. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, how you doing? It's Monday, Monday, Monday. I'm excited for the week in wrestling. A little nonplussed at the pay-per-view. Swamp match was garbage. Dang, we're already here, so let's just go. Rant number 1. I know there's less wrestling in the last 2 or 3 months. I am sad that we have resigned ourselves, and maybe this was inevitable. We've resigned ourselves to just accepting crap and saying, well, I mean, everybody has opinions, and everybody's, I was entertained. No, you weren't. Nobody watched that fucking swamp match and was entertained. Really? Fucking shit. It's okay to call shit shit. It's okay to not be happy with things not being good. There's no crowd, which is going to hurt reactions to stuff. But it's also an opportunity to do some pretty amazing things. And we're not doing amazing things. These cinematic matches lately have been utter shit. Really terrible. Are they cinematic? So are they as good as movies aren't the greatest thing either, but that swamp match was terrible. It was a fucking waste of time. Who did it advance? Who did it help? These are simple, basic questions. Boy, since I'm already going off, I'm going to just play it right now. Here's something from 6 years ago.
You know what I'm going to do about it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tweet my displeasure. That's right. I'm going to jump on social media and I'm going to tweet about it until my fingers bleed. I might even send an Instagram or a Vine. That's right. And on that tweet, in that tweet, and however many characters I get, I am going to threaten. That's right. If I don't get what I want, I'm going to riot. And if that doesn't work, then by God, me and my friend Mark, we're going to stop watching. That's right.
Yeah, that was your fair leader, Triple H, the one that people are like, oh man, when he takes over, everything's going to be amazing. So just to put it in perspective, so basically in that video, he's showing his displeasure, right? He's like, oh, he's making fun of fans that don't like their thing. And, and then if people aren't going to listen to me, then I'm just going to take my friend Mark, oh, so clever, and go. 6 years ago, the average viewership for that Raw, where he cut that promo, was 4.43 million viewers. And all this demographic stuff that people are talking about, like the most important demo from 18 to 49, blah, 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 blah. They had a 3.15 in that demo. The most recent Raw was 1.56 million viewers. That's about a third of what they had 6 years ago. Here's the kicker. Their demo is a 0.48. Their demo is less than a sixth. Cocky, uninspired, schlocky garbage. Georgia, Indies. This is a great chance to really lay claim to We're not beholden to the WWE anymore, and we can be great. And there's a number of leagues that are emerging to do that. Hi, welcome to Full Disclosure. Our commentary is going to be the one that got where the audio got all messed up this time. You notice I'm not even coming close to touching the microphone this time. Not gonna do it. So that'll be our commentary today as well. Patreon people. Brian, Rod, Larry, not that one, the other one, Southern Honor, Diana, Brett, Jeffrey, Dan, and Derek, and then the three biggies, Viral, Eric Walker, and the OG Myron. Many thanks to you. Many thanks. And you've noticed that I've thrown other stuff in there. At some point, I may throw in the commercial that I did with my kids. Having a good time. It's also getting me a different viewership, which is strange and interesting. I am still going to do the Raw report tonight, begrudgingly. I'm very excited for AEW Dark. I'm always excited for AEW Dark, and I've been covering it for a long time, but seeing that Corey Hollis is going to be on there makes it particularly poignant for me. I think the world of Corey Hollis. I think he's really great. Now that we're getting wrestling back going, I'm going to throw out that I'm going to do this video this week. I'm going to bring back the P list because we haven't done one in a very long time and there hasn't been a reason to do one, but I'm going to do a P list. Gonna do a P list that is sure to piss people off. I'm going to do my top 10 wrestlers as of now as we're going back into doing more and more shows. And this list will not resemble the last one at all. But it's a great measuring stick to see where we are and who's been managing to do work. And then who can get on that list and get their spot back. I think it's healthy. I think it's good. Pro South is doing their thing. They had their big show. Report is up on Georgia Wrestling History, gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. You want to check that out. I myself looked at the Austin Tower Logan Creed match. Here's a few things that struck me. One, the commentators were really good, less cliches, but they gotta know when to shut up. There were some poignant moments in that match where the story was telling itself and they felt the need to kind of talk over it. Look for moments of silence, commentators. That's my big note. I think a lot would be added if you weren't feeling the need to hold our hand through it. Your job is not to hold our hand. It's to bring up insightful information, to clue in first-time viewers on what's going on. It is not the job to tell us what we are seeing constantly. It just gets lost in a blur of noise if that's all you're doing. As for the match itself, clearly Austin Towers is full of confidence and it's coming through, and the match was really great. It sounds like Joe Black and Brian Pillman Jr. had a great match. What was great about both matches, from what I've read about and the other which I saw, is what they didn't do, which is too much, which is to take away from the story. I really liked it. I think it showed that, and this is not me taking away credit from anybody, but I think it shows that Logan Creed is at the height of his powers right now. He's very confident in how to put together a match. Spots that would normally have been sort of boring, predictable interludes in a match between two big guys. And another thing that showed me is Austin Towers and Logan Creed are legitimately big guys. I mean, they're looking at each other eye to eye. It was really impressive. It was really fantastic. The brawling stuff came across really well. How smart they were about countering each other in logical ways in the beginning worked really well. You know, the shoulder tackle, but it doesn't knock you down spot. Where they put that in the match later on actually heightened its importance and made it, instead of just the boring thing that you always do in the beginning, they kind of took the typical match structure between two larger than life guys wrestling each other, and they moved some things around, they removed some things, and they tweaked some things, and I thought it worked very effectively. I just liked that match a lot. Thought it was really good. And this time the crowd was clued in on sort of punctuated big moments in the match, which is why at those times when I would hear the commentators yammer on and almost talk over each other to kind of, they thought they were amplifying those moments, but they were taking away from it. Just shut the fuck up, like sometimes. That's my main note. I know I'm harping on that about the commentators because I like that they have commentary and I think that they do a very good job. I just don't want them to feel like they're having to carry moments. In big matches, speak way less. Way less. Do you remember the amazing commentary that happened during Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18? No, you don't. Say no more. New South did a show. New Era did a show. New South, is that the one with the ridiculously huge fucking belt? That thing is... You don't know what I'm talking about? Take a look. That thing's ridiculous. That belt is ridiculous. It's caught my eye, though, and I remembered it, and I'm showing it here, whatever that's worth. New Era. Southern Fried has moved to the Cross Church parking lot. It's going to happen on August 1st. By the way, that picture of Manders, somebody sent me, actually more than a few people sent me the picture of, I think it's Nelms, Manders, and Ashworth. And all I could think of looking at it is, that was a terrible picture of David Manders. He looked like a half-wit. Like, you guys got to watch the pictures that you're putting out. I mean, you know, the old Key and Peele bit about, hated it. Look at this selfie. Oh my God, I look like a grandma having an orgasm. Delete it. There's something to that. Because that picture made Ashworth look like he was balding in his 20s. That Manders looked like a half-wit. And then Chris Nelms had this smug Instagram model face on. Probably because he was like, look, I'm with important people. It's one of those pictures that I'm like, they thought that they're doing this badass picture, and instead it just looks stupid. It's kind of like when Gary Lamb put up that picture of him and Paul Lee, like, haha, this will get people mad. And instead it's like, God, you both just look like old washed out perverts hanging out together. So, in any case, speaking of Southern Honor, that's what we call a segue in the business. Their show's coming up. Rumblejack, all the stuff coming out about Rumblejack looks really great. The Sean Dean announcement, I think, is really cool. I'm very much looking forward to that show. I'm dying for them to be back. I'm dying for them to kind of make an impact. And it feels like, and this shows you that Southern Honor is important. It feels like we're really back once they're back. And they're not back for another month plus. So it is what it is. Wrestling United, one of the worst posters of the year, but from one looks at it, a very good card. I'm sure Chip Day and Frankie Valentine was great. They've wrestled each other a bunch of times before. It's great to see Frankie Valentine wrestling. And yeah, I'm sure that was good. Victory Championship, 210 people. Whoa. Good for them. Down Home Championship Wrestling. Oh my God. Congratulations. I hate the name of your group more than any other. But you got 78. And then I got word that I'm not even going to put out the number that Total Aggression Pro said that they had, because if you looked at pictures, there's just no way it's true. And part of my thing is I'm just not rehashing old beef. Like, just if you really want to know what they said they drew, I'm sure it's not hard to find. Something that I found interesting was somebody said that because they did their show not at the Landmark, but basically at Popham's Gym, that's going to be their new home, and that they're merging Total Aggression Pro in some way with OSWA, like they're absorbing their titles or they're unifying them. I don't really give a fuck. I am reminded of two benign chemicals that come together to form a poison gas. So that is what it is. Yeah, and I already said I'm putting out that P list. Cool. So, hell, let's do it. Before we get to the commentary, here is the commercial that I did with my kids. Global Market! Are you looking for fresh produce, organic groceries, fish and meat, an ethnic boutique, or roots and herbs? Then look no further than the Global Market, where the prices are practically sub-zero. Think your shopping experience can't get any more
toasty?
Well, it shall con here at the Global Market.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Get over here to the Global Market and have a flawless victory.
The Global Market is at 6235 West Colonial Drive in Orlando, Florida. Their phone number is 407-299-1824, and they're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m.
So people are like, why did you do that commercial? It's just something I did on a lark. And, oh, I get notifications all the time. Sorry. It's something that I did on the lark, but I think I'm going to continue to pick local businesses near me that don't have any kind of online presence or commercials or anything like that, and just do spontaneous commercials about them. Because it pleases me, and the kids have a lot of fun, and I'm interested in my kids' ideas. Most of the terrible Mortal Kombat puns were provided by my children. My youngest coming up with the Sub-Zero bit. My oldest coming up with the Shao Kahn bit. Oh my God, so terrible. And deliberately doing the bad acting of like, so come on down or whatever. Like they crack me up with their ideas thrown in with mine. It keeps my creative juices flowing, so I love it. But cool, let's get to the commentary. Oh, let me ring the bell to end that I ranted about the other thing. Okay. What did I talk about? I talked basically how this idea of so many ideas that, so many things that were happening 3 months ago are now like rearing their ugly heads again. But right now it's just at the shitbird level. So this is my urging of promotions that matter more. Please don't get into this thing of undercutting other groups for no other reason than to just try to undercut them. This is a great time to focus on yourself. This is a great time to do your thing. I'm so tired of just the level of smiling in the face and then stabbing in the back. That right, it's already happening at a certain level, right? Southern Violence has a show that does very well, and then immediately the usual suspects of shitbirds are going out of their way to say, no, they didn't, no, they didn't, no, they didn't. But then there's same that will lie about the crowds of shows that they are involved with. And it's so petty, and it's so tiny, and it's so dumb. It's just a complete waste of energy. So let me urge the bigger groups, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Southern Honored, Southern Fried, right? Viral, Anarchy, and other groups that are on the come up. By the way, I would love to hear when certain groups are going to start again. I want to know when Atlanta wrestling is going to start again. I want to know. But my God, focus on promoting your thing, getting it out there. And if you're going to other people's shows, wonderful. I could see why people would be mad at Southern Violence, right? They've come out, they got the biggest crowds, they got their stuff together. I could see why people would be mad at the Alabama groups. Look at how many Alabama shows ran. And now because they had to jump through hoops, they had to show some level of discipline to even get to run. It feels like their thing is much more together than most Georgia groups, who are really in a wait and see mode of like, God, I hope we're going to be able to do this thing. Right? A little discipline. And part of self-discipline, and the most important part of self-discipline, is understanding what's true and what's not, and where your energies should be directed. And I'm just advising you, direct your energies towards your own thing right now. Because right now, we got to just be fucking happy. As I laid into somebody recently about this, who was trying to undercut Pro South's thing and sort of like, oh, are they making money? And it's like, dude, I'm glad they're running, and I'm glad that there's a show that the boys enjoy doing that is making inroads and positive contributions, because a number of the big ones aren't right now. Southern Fried hasn't run a show in fucking forever. Neither's Southern Honor. Neither's Action. And it's not for lack of trying. I get that. But right now, the shows that we're getting, a lot of them are the shittier ones. It's just a fact. But it's good they're there. Is it not? Of course it is. And you have a number of people crusading and on their own thing and doing their own thing. The Morgan Davises of the world, right? He's on this crusade about, I'm going to get Chase and Rants and all of this stuff. And it's all well and good, though I will caution people. Again, if you're going to have the terrible sword of justice, what inevitably happens to the people who are crusading? I'm not talking about Morgan Davis III in particular. Like, his thing is in motion right now, and it's relatively new. I'm talking about people in the past who have gone on these like all or nothing crusades. What ends up happening? What usually ends up happening is they get revealed at the very least as a hypocrite in some way, shape, or form. And at the very worst, the Republican senator that fights against gay rights and then gets caught with some page boy. Right? I'm not saying that's going to be Morgan Davis III. I'm saying inevitably those who sally forth without caution and with a great deal of an air of superiority and arrogance about it, it doesn't end well. So be cautious. Focus on what you're doing. And know that you're going to have to answer hard questions. This is for the wrestling groups that are soon to run, many of whom seem more concerned about what people are doing who are currently running and undercutting that, thinking somehow that elevates them. What we're seeing right now is what happens when people are not allowed to run. And what that is your importance and inevitability is put into question. And we're seeing a number of people who probably by their own admission would say they aren't good promoters, who are finding good ways to promote things. I'm talking about Bill Behrens. Like, one thing, Bill Behrens and I are very different people. And most people would say that. But one thing we shared in common is we never thought of ourselves as promoters first. But I gotta say, Bill Behrens has done as good or better of a job than anybody promoting during COVID. Now, it hasn't been conventional things, right? But the things he is interested in highlighting and the people he is interested in helping have been helped very significantly. And the things that he's put out there are getting a lot of attention. Old Wild Side stuff, etc. I can't wait to see the machines start up. The Southern Fried machine, the Southern Honor machine. Because we haven't gotten to see it for a long time. But in their absence, some plants have grown in the cracks in the sidewalk that have happened. If you told me in 2020 I was going to be sitting here telling you how important Pro South is, I wouldn't have fucking believed it. But here we are. If you'd have said at the beginning of the year, Anarchy, Viral, Southern Honored, Southern Fried, Action, we're going to be virtual non-entities, I wouldn't have believed it. And that the groups that we're talking about the most are Renegade Championship Wrestling, Pro South, Southern Violence, and a bunch of people with new as the first word in their title, who are from Alabama. I wouldn't have believed it, but here we are. But here's where it gets interesting. Because we're almost at the end of July. Oh my God. And we'll be into August. I would imagine at some point action is going to run. For viral, I know they're just waiting for the all clear go ahead, and we don't know when that's going to happen. And no matter how much belly aching people do about politics on both sides of the aisle on Facebook, none of that's going to make it any better. Trust me, Georgia, it's a clusterfuck. And I should know because I'm in the king of clusterfuck, Florida. It's a mess. And we don't know where things are going to happen. The lessons that I've taught for over a year, they still apply, and maybe they apply more than ever. I don't know. It's a perfectly acceptable thing to say. And again, I call for nuance and self-evaluation. It's super important. It's more important than it's ever been. But most of all, I'm going to call for the 5 things that I've taught my children, because they're the 5 traits of the incredibly successful, right? Do you know what they are, Veronica? She's over there reading a magazine that she checked out from the library because they're trying to keep their brains sharp, right? Optimism. You're okay. I got it. Optimism. Yeah. Things are going to be good when you start running. You have to believe that. Curiosity. Is there a new way we can do things and approach things? Self-control. There's a lot at stake. And people have different goals with their wrestling shows. For some, it is making money. For some, it's about clout chasing. And those are the ones that are willing to lie about their crowds the most. Right? You can always tell what the true priority of a group is by the complaints that you see them do. Because whatever they are complaining about the most is what they are afraid of the most. So, whenever you're interested, wrestling people, wrestling fans, take a look at the people around you and what they are complaining about. Because whatever they're complaining about is the thing that they are scared of the most. And then look at yourself and see what you have put out there publicly. What do you complain about? Both on the top, most obvious level, and also underneath. And then how are you going to make it better? If you truly despise the people in the wrestling business, then you can do what millions of people did after they heard Triple H's speech. You can just stop doing it. It's an option. The biggest problem in wrestling, I'll just tell you what it is. It's hubris. If you don't know exactly what that means, look it up. Hubris is the first thing that should be taken away. It's the first thing that died in the coronavirus. And if you're going to get what led to you having hubris back, you're going to have to earn it. Otherwise, you just look like a damn fool. This has been Full Disclosure.